Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But
So
I
yeah.
really wanted to talk about your book. Your book was
Yes.
awesome.
Oh, thank you. It was a journey to get there, to get it to you, get it to that point.
Yeah,
That was, and then after that, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yes. I was so thrilled. I cried, girl. You know, I cried when I saw it was like done
yeah.
and
Oh,
I
it looked
read
fabulous.
it. Oh, I was just thrilled to have it done.
That's
11 years. 11,
wow.
11. Something prophetic in that, I'm sure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be putting together. But yeah, you talk a lot about AI,
Hmm.
and as we know, it's starting to rear its ugly head.
Yep. In ways unimaginable.
Yeah, it's awfully frightening
Mm.
what we've been seeing. You know, these robot dogs. I mean, really, you're going to replace man's best friend?
Yeah. Yeah. All the insects, the mosquitoes, the cockroaches, the flies, I mean, they've got all kinds of insects that are nanotechnology in them. And there was someone I just read, or where did I see that on? I think it was Secure Team. I didn't read it. I saw it on Secure Team about a woman who actually had a mosquito land on her. She went to swat it. It sliced her hand, and she died of a septic infection within, you know, oh my God, I can't remember, a week. I think it said something like that, days, a week. She died.
Uh,
Yeah. So it had to be one of those AI mosquitoes.
yeah, it would have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
you
And
can't hide from this stuff.
no, it's everywhere. They released them in Florida. There's several articles people can look up about releasing these nanotechnology mosquitoes out into Florida. Yeah, Florida's been the breeding ground for different things to come that way. Even I think the mosquitoes for Ebola came through Florida.
It does not surprise me.
Mm-mm. It's great. It's scary. People should be scared, and not in a fullest, but in a scared way of where is this taking us? What's gonna wow. Yeah, we'll get into all that because it's
Well, let's get into your book because when I read it, I was like, there's a lot of stuff in it I never even thought of until I started to do my own research, which we always encourage people to do.
oh wow, yeah. I've never done research on a book.
But the AI technology is really what we want people to research.
Right. Well, as again, that book didn't come to me, like, it was just an idea. It was a shared dream that I had with my brother-in-law. And again, it was over a course of several years. This dream went on. And different things in the book manifested through those dreams. And so I had in the beginning of the book, the technology of weather control is touched on. It's not said, but it's touched on because it's the middle of July and a snowstorm, not a cold snowstorm, but a snowstorm nonetheless that left snow on the ground is the first thing that it opens up with, and the snow is deadly. It's deadly. It kills whoever is stuck out in it. And
Yeah,
so that was a dream. That was a dream, and it was weird too
that's
because in the
neat.
dream, none of the animals were dying. The dogs were still running around, and it wasn't affect. It was only affecting human beings.
Why would you think that would be?
Wow. Well, and again, it's not that we have the most good intentioned peoples running the show, and I hesitate to call them peoples.
Yeah,
Because when we want to refer to our peoples or our persons, or, it's sacred to us, but they are nefarious, evil. I mean, my God, the things that I mean, again, AI has come such a long way that people don't even know the technology that they have. that I was exposed to back in the late 60s because I was raised in the Army with my dad's a pilot in the Army, and we were raised on Army bases, and so we were actually stationed in Fort Huachuca. At the time, it was a secret base. I did not know that. But that's where I first experienced what I now can look back and say some of that stuff was holographic. Some of those voices that I was hearing, some of some of the stuff that I was experiencing go along with holographic technology, microwave technology, the voice of God technology. All those things happening to me. I've written about them and had them published in Bel Esprit magazine. I've got 21 chapters up there right now, and it's where I'm going to stop when I turn 15. But it's taken me from 6 years old to 15 to in that writing because there's just many things I was experiencing. And however, I didn't stop experiencing them when we left the base. It continues to this day. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, so yeah, I've seen technology, but it wasn't in my vocabulary. I didn't know to call it technology. All I know is I saw the devil running around my house. I saw, the hand coming up through the window, which is actually these witnessed experiences are typical. A lot of people see this hand, this evil devil looking, long claws, red hand, looks like just grotesque looking. But that's all you see is the hand and the arm, just the forearm. That's all that comes up. And, those things I still saw them for several years after we left the base. The devil running around my house, literally running around my house, literally like like a madman.
Holy water.
Even holy water doesn't protect you against a hologram.
No.
Think about that for a second. It's like, why do people still experience stuff they can't explain? And it's because of our AI technology, which once again, I've been talking about it over 20 years. Stuff that I've been experiencing, things I've gone through. And another outlet has been Alex Jones, InfoWars. There was so much, and I started watching him 20 years ago. And so there was so much stuff that he started talking about that, was like really put the pieces of the puzzle together for me, and I was, 20 years ago, whatever age I was. But it's not important. But when he started, coming out with all, and again, he's reading the news, he's reading articles, he's reading, science papers, and he's just, telling it like it is, what's published. And so here comes all this technology information, and here we are 20 years later. And here it is. I just, read an article a couple weeks ago about the what do they call it? It's the interface. Elon Musk actually taking part of it. DARPA is taking part of it, where they're going to implant neuro interface. I think it's something like that. Oh gosh, why can't I remember what it's called now? Because I knew I was going. And I'm just seeing these things, and I'm coming on this show, and I wanted to talk about it. But they're going to be having all these things that you can do, and they implant it in your brain, and you can run around town, surfing the web, doing all kinds of things. It's an interface, your web with the internet.
Literally built inside of us.
Yeah, they can implant it into your brain. Yeah.
That is the merging of humanity with AI.
Yes.
That's scary damn thought.
Hello, and it's happening. Yeah, the conversation was just on Twitter between Elon Musk and DARPA. DARPA responded because someone asked Elon, or somebody posted something about, this neuron technology, and Elon Musk's replied, "I already got mine," and DARPA replied, "Can't wait." This just happened. And so, yeah, we've been talking about it, and here we are. It is crazy to me, the stuff that came out, even when I was, dreaming and having those dreams. Because again, it took me 11 years And again, those dreams took a while for me to even like talk to my brother-in-law about. We were just sitting around talking one night, and I started telling him about this dream, and then he started telling me about his. And I'm like, oh my god, So that's how the book came together.
Yeah.
But and that continued. The dreams continued, and so all this technology that's talked about in the book. I wrote, here now almost 15 years ago, because we published in 2017, right? And so here we are in 2019. So add 11, 12, 13 years, and then go ahead and add another year, 14, because it took us a little while to get together with this dream talk. And again, the dreams were still continuing, even, that whole year before I talked about them. And so, yeah, 14 years ago, we were having these dreams about this technology, and about, how we're gonna not even recognize what a robot looks like. It's gonna look like well, in the dreams, again, they're called gen bots, because they're like made with DNA and skin, and they don't bleed. But it's kind of like in Westworld, which, hello, when did that come out? That was back in the 70s, the original. Now they've got the series on HBO, but the original Westworld came out in the 70s, like 79. And it was exactly about, a whole society that nobody knew about, but you could pay to go to, and live every dream you want, with these real looking situations and robots. And that's, whew. Here we go.
Yeah, they knew back then.
Yes, exactly. They knew back then. Whenever we hear about it, they've known about it for 50 years. Because again, I had those experience started in, 1969, 68. So they were already doing it before I got there. And today you can look up Fort Huachuca, and it'll tell you exactly. It's in 1975, I believe, it became known as a public base. And they still list, the information technology, the communication technology, the microwave technology, electronic technology, and a holographic, everything that they're with there. And if you were to look at Fort Huachuca, it's underground. Above Fort Huachuca, the base itself just looks like a basic little base, but it's all underground. And it has been underground since the 60s. And here we are, technology and things that they were working on then, we are experiencing today on a massive scale.
And with no end in sight, I see this just converging and getting larger, more chaotic.
Well, see, and that's where the book takes us as well, is because Archangel Michael, I call him Archangel, but in the book he's just Michael. He takes the main character, John, on a journey, showing him the progression of AI, and how many times, well, several times, they go through a war scene, where he's taken them to these other planets and these other dimensions, and that shows that the AI, it's kind of like it is with a human being, because human beings, are the ones, that program these things, right? And so when a human being has all of its facilities, it's able to, go through and explore emotions. Well, that's how advanced these gen bots are. And so they experience emotion. And so when they started noticing, the disrespect that they were receiving, because they were lower than, they were the servants, they were the, the labor jobs, all these things were given to the bots and not to the human beings, and no longer, even down to, waitress at a restaurant, and it just takes you through that journey of, of the disrespect that was built, and how AI responded every time. They blew us up. They blew us up. They tried to kill us, eliminate us, because they saw us as a threat.
That's just crazy. And then I've read a lot about Project Bluebeam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another one that is holographic technology. Again, they've been working on this stuff for years. The Project Bluebeam, I believe it, was in the 80s, late 90s. And that's, a lot of the alien technology, because, again, most of this is alien technology as well. It's not just that AI is programmed by humans, but that they were given. If a human being is given some technology, by another being, and they don't completely understand it, and of course they try their reverse engineering to understand the technology. Well, you're still messing with stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like messing with our DNA for real in our bodies even, they're still messing with us and it's throwing us off. So imagine it's happening to the AI as well. Because again, they're programmed with a certain intent, and there is those rules where they're not supposed to hurt. But if you give that AI the full capabilities of a human being, well, you're giving them everything, including that rage and that hatred. And that's the energy play that keeps everything in that turmoil. It's just repeating that over and over. How many times do you think we've experienced this? Again, that dream on our journey of different places, different times, and they were all at war. And they were at war with AI.
Kind of reminds you of the Terminator movies, doesn't it?
Yeah, where Skynet is activated.
And there's a real Skynet even nowadays.
Yes, Skynet is activated. It's a real thing. Again, we've talked about before, too, how they tell us what they're doing through movies.
Yeah.
And that it makes us complacent. It normalizes things. So when we hear that that's out there, we're just like, yeah, right. That's just some movie thing. What? No, they're telling you, but they don't want you to pay attention. They don't want you to realize. They don't want you to keep that thought. You'll forget. You'll forget all about that article that's looked at, or that, video that you watched, that shows you what the CERN is doing, or, because they're all out there. Watch that movie. But that's what they do. They put it out there. They show you. They tell you what they're doing. That's why I feel too that we have the dreams, because shared dreams is something that it's not uncommon, but it is rare, that you can pick up on those frequencies even to get that to where you're sharing a dream, and I think that a lot of that again is an energy that's put out there, kind of like we said, with the Tesla energy. It's put out there all the time, but who's going to tap into it and do something with it? Whether it's write a book or, make the actual product, or, that energy's put out there all the time because it's a universal energy. This stuff has been in existence for trillions of billions of years. This isn't our, this earth is our first home or only home.
Definitely. No.
Yeah, or this time isn't the only one that's happening right now. And that's the other thing that they're doing with technology, is like bridging into the dimensions that are next to us, kind of like in the show. Did you ever see that on Sci-Fi?
Yes, I saw a few episodes, and it was creepy.
Yeah. Well, they were doing the same thing. They were using technology to, put a black hole in. How many times have we heard that they're messing with black holes now? Try to put a black hole up in our space, in our atmosphere, in certain locations, knowing that there's a dimension right next to us, and it could be, exactly the same kind of, Solana's over there too, but things might be different for Solana over there. She might be a millionaire, or she might be living on the street.
Yeah.
But they're trying to go into that, and it's going to disrupt and mess and change with things. And even in the show Fringe, the bridge eventually collapses. Because you're going into some universal laws, and you're penetrating yourself, which, think about it. If you're not of good intention, then you're going to take that technology and use it for bad. And think about, again, even all the inventions that we've had that are public, they were taken over. There's, electric cars were taken over. The cars that run on hydrogen, taken over. Of the Tesla model, taken over. So that we're not getting these easy access to these better environmental, to these better for our energy, to these better, because that's not their plan.
No.
And it's just been a repeat of a repeat of a repeat. Even Satara happened in a faraway galaxy. This is at the end of the book, fast forward, I know, but at the end of the book, they go out and into another galaxy that they created called the Milky Way. And they settle in Mars. And so that'll be the next sequence of...
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't, will it take you another 11 years to write it, or no?
Probably not. No. I don't know, because the dreams are still coming, so...
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I mean, and again, I think as even in our dream state, we pick up on that universal energy. That's why we have to stay protected even in our dream state. I tell people, when you talk about your chakras, you talk about living in that protection. It's 24/7 because even during our dream time, we can be infiltrated.
Yes.
But if you know what you're doing, you're protected. Then you travel. We astral travel when we're sleeping. So it's you need to realize that you're going to other places and talking to other beings, and we need to be protected.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one. I was talking with a friend not too long ago, and she had mentioned, she goes, "You said something about traveling when I was sleeping," and I said, "Yeah, astral travel," and she's all, "That's some scary stuff, but I'm going to put that in my book."
Oh yeah. Well, have you ever seen the movies Insidious? Insidious 1, 2, and 3. It's all about a little boy traveling out because he travels too far. He gets stuck in the Everness, and brings back demons. So,
Yeah. Well, what was funny is when Insidious, I want to say the second one came out. It could have been the third one, but there was a little boy in it, and I actually interviewed his father.
Oh wow!
And it was when I was interviewing like a lot of different, actors that were really trying to get out there and this and that. And then I said, "Well, what did he think about it?" And he said, he thought it was very interesting, the kid stuff. But he said, the whole concept, it kind of bothered him. But his son really wants to be an actor, and he said he did very well in it. He was very happy with his particular performance throughout the whole film. And but it was funny because I started to hear stories from people who were actually on the set, and they said, certain times and certain things were not right. Weird things were happening.
Oh, I believe it. Same thing with a lot of movies that go on. There, even oh my God, we could go on about the movies that have been cursed, and the people's lives destroyed or died. How many have we lost, or how many people have died rather because of the curses, because of the situation, because it's like people not even realizing the energy behind all of that. Especially when they're going through stuff. It's not like, because that little boy is real. And that little boy in the Sixth Sense is real. The little girl in Poltergeist, real. The little girl in The Exorcist, real. And other movies that are made in over, foreign countries and stuff, that are translated. I don't know if you've ever seen any, but they're all kind of geared towards, this evil thing that follows them around, takes them out one by one, or some guy, and here comes.
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah,
I've seen a few of those films. I have to stay away from those films now because I have a tendency to bring this stuff to me.
Oh heck no!
And I can't stand it because I will be in my room at night with my sleeping husband next to me, and the damn thing standing next to me or across the room. So I have to be so careful what I watch nowadays.
Wow. See, well, and again, we have to be able to in this world and protected from it.
Yes.
All the time. And again, even if you, have those experiences, because again, that's what a lot of people have, those experiences, like you're saying, but they don't realize that there's a person standing there. They just have that creepy feeling. And then they dismiss it like, oh, I just, I'm scared because I just watched that movie. Well, dismissing it gives it permission to stay because it knows you felt it. It knows that your hair stood up on the back of your head or your arm or, wherever.
Anywhere, yeah.
And it made that connection to you. And so if you dismiss it, which a lot of people do because they don't know any better, it's inviting it to stay. And so in that moment, I tell my, whoever comes to me for help, in that moment, you have to remove it. You have to acknowledge it's there. You don't need to have a conversation with it. You don't need to ask it its name or, what do you want? We already know what it wants. We already know its name. It's evil. It doesn't matter beyond that. It's not good for you.
Yeah, I don't care if his name is Matthew or Luke.
Doesn't matter.
I just want you gone.
I don't want to talk to you again, ever again anyway. So, yeah. And then, I teach them how to open up that vortex and pull everything up and out of their space.
Yes.
Because you have to take care of it in that moment. We can't dismiss it and just leave it up to, oh, that didn't really happen, or I'm just feeling that way because I saw. No, you feeling something like that? That's your spider senses going up, and intuition's kicking in, saying, hey, something's in here. So I just, as soon as because I still do that, especially if I'm spending the night at somebody else's house. Oh my God. So I just lay there, open up my vortex, and pull it up and out, close my vortex, and go to sleep. I'm like, I ain't messing with it. I'm not doing it, because it doesn't belong. And that's the thing. People don't. They're complacent to the events that are happening here because they've been happening so long. It's been normalized. It's been, we've been like, what's the word? Desensitized
Yes.
to even believe what our own body is telling us, our own sight is telling us, our own feelings. Instead we listen to these stupid thoughts in our heads that downgrade us and tell some people to do some horrible stuff. They Carl Younger, whatever his name is, he always called it the carnal mind. Thinking, and again, he's a scientist, psychologist, trying to rationalize why people are evil. And it came down to, this is something that's just in everybody. It's in everybody. You have a carnal mind. It's going to make you do stupid things. You've got different personalities going on over there trying to vie for control of what's happening. Bull crap.
I was going to say, there might be a fight in my head, but it's because, do they want strawberry jam or raspberry jam?
you know. But some people, really, they take that personality thing, they take that and they take it inward and own it. Okay. Well, that's not, first of all, what Jesus told us. Jesus told us he's already provided everything good for us that we need to, walk this world. We don't have to want or ask for anything. However, we need to be aware that, good energy is not the only energy here. That bad energy has an ability to infiltrate, manipulate, decide whether or not you're going to go over here, go over there, talk you into shit you would have never done before.
Yep.
These things are real, and they're not your carnal mind. They are other entities that have been here and infiltrated. This is not a battle that it's new. We've been going through this for thousands of years. That's why everybody feels like they've been here so many times, because they're stuck in the loop of repeating coming here, because they can't leave. They can't leave. They can't leave. As a medium, I talk to, people that it's taken them a while to transition and get over and move on and get past, and because there's obstacles that they're going through even after they die. What is that about, if not another entity trying to stop you from moving on and taking your rightful place and, into the next step? No, they keep you throwing you back down here. There's some people that even say the moon, of course, is hollow and is a ship, and that there's something on the moon called the soul catcher. And it's when it sees the souls leaving the planet, it aligns with them and sucks them in and puts them right back down in another body. Another baby.
That is... Well, what's funny is I have had numerous dreams about heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my daughter was really young. She was like maybe 2. And I remember I had a dream that I went to heaven, and I saw my daughter. She was holding onto this pillar, and she was going around it, and she was singing and being loud, 2-year-old. And there were people walking by, and they're looking at her, and they're looking at me, and I swear I think I turned beet red. And my husband's father had just passed, and he said, she's not supposed to be here. And I said, yeah, I know. And I saw other people that I knew, and I said, well, I'm trying to get her home. And they said, well, here's the thing. She is home, but she comes back to visit a lot, and she's very disruptive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to convince her to, okay, you might want to stay away for a while. And after a while, she just stopped going.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Because especially at that age, until we get to be about 7, 8 years old, That's when our sleep, and what we're going through, our sleep patterns start to change, especially if you're being abused in any way, emotionally, physically, sexually. All these things can, really start messing with your sleep patterns and stuff. But before that, especially in the wound, from the moment of the spark, you can start coming and going. You start coming and going, and that's why people can get stuck, because they don't realize they can only go so far. They gotta stop, and they gotta come back. But they will leave their body, and I think Stephen King even described it as a string, going from your energy source in your body, and it's connected to your spirit. It's also been described as 12 ounces. I don't know if you ever saw the movie called 12 Ounces, but everyone loses 12 ounces when they die. Everyone. Doesn't matter who you are. You lose 12 ounces. Why do you lose 12 ounces? Wow, that's because that's your spirit. There's mass to it. There's mass to our spirit. And so we have to realize and remember all this cosmic stuff and how we're connected to the universe, because, if we don't know that as a little child, then, we take risks. I mean, that's why it's important. I felt it was important, I guess, to come in here with someone, who was going to back me up, like my sister, Angie. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back down there and I'll do this with you, but you're coming with me.
I ain't going alone.
I'm not going alone. Someone down there is going to understand me completely. And she's the only one. In all my life, she's the only one that really gets me.
That kind of sounds like my husband, because he used to say, I think I know you better than you know yourself. And I'm like, okay, well, what's that in the corner? Well, what are you talking about? And I'm like, do you see that thing in the corner? Well, no, I don't. And I'll say who or what it is, and then all of a sudden the hairs on his arm start standing up. And I said, okay, I don't think you know as well as you thought.
So yeah, I think we need that reinforcement growing up, especially when we get bombarded with our society and our family and our churches or whatever they drag us through.
Yes.
And so it's important to know while we're here and before we leave, because we don't want to get stuck. We don't want to get sucked back in. So it's important to know these things. Energetically, you're very strong. We're so strong energetically, and we are mass energetically at 12 ounces.
Yes.
And so it's important to know that 12 ounces is connected to your energy system, your oneness with God.
It's nice to know I weigh 12 ounces.
Right? Yeah, right? I mean, this is why every time I remember just coming back into this body, and it was just felt so, because I had a near-death experience, and then afterwards I started astral traveling, because I was psychic before I died and came back. But after I came back, I started noticing I was astral traveling. I thought it was a side effect from the drugs. But I stopped doing the drugs because I'm like, hey, these things are making me feel weird.
Exactly.
I'm going to stop doing them. And so I stopped doing it because it was just painkillers. I had a C-section. And I was really sick because I had, again, I died. Had to have 3 pints of blood put in, the whole thing. But anyway, after I stopped doing the painkillers, and I was still continuing to astral travel. Still do it. To this day.
I've done it all my life.
Yeah. I was 15 when that happened. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And just continued. So my question is, when it comes to AI, can these evil beings get inside them and control them?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Most certainly can.
And how does that operate? How does that function? And can we destroy? If we destroy the AI being, what will happen with the being?
Well, the being that's in it, again, energetically has to be destroyed. You can't just smash your computer and the hardware and everything be done, over and done with. There's moving parts people could take out, and rearrange and get you to work again. So you have to energetically, it would be like, an electric bolt, a shock to the AI can kill it if it's in that machine. So it's but even, again, that's a part of it's in the book. This kid is a hacker, and he's hacking into some serious stuff. And so the AI detects the threat and they start watching. They give it a time. He's able to give a rope, I guess you could say, to hang himself even more,
Yes.
and then they zap him. They kill him with a zap from his computer. And so if you think about what typically when you zap something that has an electrical system as well that could be zapped.
Yes.
So you just have to know that he's in there. And in today's technology, it doesn't even have to be in your computer. It's through your Wi-Fi. It's through your cable. It's in your TV. It's on your phone.
As we hear the smashing of TVs and phones.
Yeah. But you want to give it a shock first. You want to kill the hard drive. You got to kill the motherboard.
Yeah.
Because that's how I even see, this AI connection. It looks like a digital motherboard to me. Like The Matrix. When I saw the Matrix movie, I was like, holy crap.
I
they,
know.
they took that, but I don't see it in numbers and lists that they have it on that. It's just more just like the lit up digital mainframe that looks like a motherboard in a computer, especially a laptop computer, where it's all smaller and compressed.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what it looks like when I look inside the body, because they leave a digital imprint in our chakras, in our energy field.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can definitely you can remove it, but you have to know it's there. And you're talking about a whole like the only thing that would really do it is like a solar flare. If a solar flare came and blew out our grid system, that would actually take AI offline.
Yeah, it would.
That'd be massive. I want to do that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, see how brainwashed I am? No, I need my technology. We don't want that to happen. See, so subtle. So subtle. No.
Yeah.
I'm willing to fry my motherboard. Okay.
I think I would just put it in the bathtub and throw a hairdryer in it and say, bah!
Yeah, and how many? Oh, I had a flash of that happening. I mean, that's one way to kill for sure. It's cause of electrical shock, and that's again, it has to be done like that, opposed to just shutting down your computer, taking your motherboard out, whatever. The AI will leave it and go to something else that's in your house. I mean, if it's crazy, to even think that, this is the type of technology we have to worry about today. But if we've already done the experiences or experiments where we think about something, and then, we don't speak about it. I don't tell anybody else what I'm thinking. I just think about it, and I think about it, and I think about it, and then I'll get on my computer and I'll start seeing ads for it. I had a conversation with a client. We were talking about how she was doing a lean cuisine diet, right? I have had freaking lean cuisine ads up on everything I go to the last couple of days from that conversation. I think we had the conversation and in an email message. Again, she mentioned lean cuisine. But yeah, I mean, crazy stuff like that. It's already happening with our thoughts, as if that neuro interface is being done for them. They don't have to insert something into your brain. All they need is your brain waves. And again, Military Connections years ago told me that they record your brain wave when you're born. It's one of the things they do. They record your brain wave and then they put it into this massive computer. That I don't know if y'all know or not either, but there's huge, massive computers that run a lot of the stuff that our government does, that our hospitals do, or military. It's all on these major computers, and then of course there's new ones that have just come online. I think I read about those a couple weeks ago. It's called the Wave. They can literally tap into your brain, give you thoughts, see what you're listening about, see what you're thinking about, hear your conversations, know what you're saying, and set up a profile. That's what they've been doing. China admits it. They'll tell you about their facial recognition program, to where they've even put it on a scale now that if you don't got good credit, they already know, so you don't get access to certain things because of your credit status.
Well, I know about Dragonfly.
Mm-hmm. Which
And
is
It is pretty much
It's
what you
leaking.
said.
Yeah.
China, actually, Google was a part of it.
Yep.
Google was supposed to put it online.
Hmm.
Well, it got out, so they decided, basically, all of a sudden, oops, there's a fire in China, so it was moved back to California.
Right.
And they wanted to implement what you just said throughout the world.
Hmm.
And to me, I see that as the beast system.
Oh yeah, and they've already done it. They're talking about it, which means they've already done it. Remember, if we're hearing about it, they've already done it.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about what they want to do or what they're going to do. And they put little things out as well to the vibe of the people, whether or not it'll be accepted or not. Kind of like the deal with, the Schumann residence. If they put certain information out, they'll watch that Schumann residence and see what the energy, move is good, bad. Where's it, people going with their thought on it. How willing are they to accept what we're trying to sell them? It's basically what it is. You
That
know?
makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, they do it. And yeah, the big push right now is to let inmates vote while they're in prison, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was already a law passed a year ago in Florida that allows those that are released and out of prison now, after serving whatever term, to vote. It's already passed in Florida. And I hate that I voted for thinking, yeah, they're out of prison. Sure, let's give them back some of their social responsibilities. Well, now we've got pedophiles running for office
So,
and pedophiles voting, in Florida. And a pedophile is now running for office, House of Representative in Florida. So I'm thinking, holy Christ, see how they got me?
yeah.
Because in the subtle, let me be a good person, let me give this person another, yeah. Not thinking, well, what kind of, talking about here,
Yeah.
Because it matters. It matters.
Oh, yeah, because they've been pushing that for a while now.
Oh, yes, they're pushing pedophilia hard.
Yes,
Yeah,
really, really hard. And
really hard.
the best part is people are so against it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are just sickened by it.
Yep. Most people. There are that group of people that love it and do it and have bought into the evil that controls it. They have no idea. They have no idea. Just like a celebrity. They have no idea what they're signing up. They go to Hollywood and they're like, you want to be a star? We can make you a star. Sign right here on the dotted line. And they own you.
Yeah.
And so we've got people that I've got everyday people. I've got houses with, fathers that are pedophiles, mothers that are pedophiles. It's not just men. Women are pedophiles also. Again, it's because it's a learned behavior. They're taught it by it happening to them, and they continue it. There are those that it happens to, and they don't continue it. Thank God for them, because, what a thing to pass down. This is what we've been passing down generation after generation because it's all part of the people that are in control, because it doesn't take a whole village to run things. There just takes a select few. Like with all the crap that's going on in DC right now. Everyone's like, oh, sure, everyone's corrupt. Everyone's in on it. No, not everyone has to be on it. Just key pointed people in on it is all they need. And that's who they go. That's who they target. That's who they go after. And you either go along with it or you don't make it. They'll ruin you. They'll ruin you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that firsthand. Look at what they try to do with Kavanaugh.
Exactly. I'm supposed to go there that he's a pedophile with his daughter. I mean, someone suggested it after all that crap with Ford and everybody else came out. They're like, oh, I think he's holding his daughter's hand a little too much. I think that, he shouldn't be standing behind his daughter right there. He should be standing behind. I'm like, are you people for real? It's because we are raised in a sick society. That energy that has infiltrated every aspect of our life. You can't even look at someone and trust that they're a good, honest person anymore.
No, and see, that's to me, I think that's the hard part for you, me, and a lot of people who are so sensitive that we can see who they really are on the inside.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you that AI can see them too. And so they're going to react and do the same things that we do as human beings. They'll be the gossipers, they'll be the rumors, they'll be the people that take their take it so personal, they seek revenge. All these human emotions that we go through. Well, and again, they're exaggerated emotions, because why isn't love more powerful? Why isn't being kind more powerful? Why isn't being nice more powerful? Why isn't being non-abusive more powerful? It's like, well, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it sells, and that's because that's the energy that they want to keep going. And again, we're stuck in this loop of repeating it over and over again to the point where they blow us up and do it again. Repeat, set the reset button.
Again and again.
Again and again.
Again and I have again. Definitely, I've had a lot of conversations in prayer, and I'm like, I am not coming back. I don't care if Christ himself gets down on one knee and says, please come back. I'm going to tell him, no, thank you. Send me anywhere but there.
And I refuse to go anywhere in this kind of turmoil, period, because we're not the only one. We're not the only galaxy and planet in this turmoil. This evil has infiltrated. Think about how many trillions of years it had to go through the galaxies. Again, it's got different technology than what we've got. And again, while it might have been created by someone, it has to have a program to begin something. But once that happens, and then just like with a human being, they see how easy it is to infiltrate us because we don't know about our chakra system. We don't even care to connect. But what the heck is that? It's mumbo jumbo talk. So we don't know about that. We're easily infiltrated. The AI was the same thing, innocent at first. It was created to do a job, and it did that job, and then it was infiltrated. It's the same way we are. It's crazy to think about how old we really are and how many times we've done this.
Way too many.
Way too many. So I agree. I don't want to come back. I don't want to go anywhere that has this. But at the same time, I believe that we are here at this time, not just to bring awareness, but to bring absolution, to bring the forgiveness that this evil entities so badly need. Because again, when we fight violence with violence, we just begat more violence. And so if you control, or rather if you confront these entities with that negative, I hate you, you're going to die, because that's what I used to do. I used to just blast them out of oblivion. And then God said, can you not do that? And I'm like, okay. So he asked me, that's when he showed me how to open the living vortex and to just pull them up and out and send them directly back to him and let him deal with his unruly children. Because again, he feels responsible as a parent. Think about God, everything, even what we are experiencing today, he had a hand in. And he feels responsible. And so he's asked me to stop blasting them out of existence, to send them back to him, let him deal with his unruly children, and they will receive absolution, forgiveness, because he's an all-forgiving, loving God. And we are to be just like that. So we have to do that here. In the physical, we have to pray for them, for those dark energies to, receive that absolution. And anytime and anywhere I go and I feel them and I see them, up and out. Up and out.
Yeah.
So that living vortex, I do have a video that will walk you through how to do that. Open it up and connect with that Mother God energy so that we're working with God to, send his children back to him. I'm okay with that as a parent. I think it's a good thing that he takes responsibility. I take responsibility for my kids. It's good that he wanted to. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, yes, I will do it. And that's when he took me to Sedona. And took me up to the vortexes up there and showed me how to do it. I was grateful for that trip.
That's awesome. I remember I was helping a friend, and they didn't know what was in their house, and I was helping them through Facebook Messenger, the video and all that, and I saw this being. It kind of looked like it was like half demon, half alien, but one thing, God also showed me, basically, you just ask Archangel Michael to come get it. Right. And so I did. And I literally saw this angel come down, grab it, take it back to God, and that thing was screaming all the way back to God. I heard it. I was like, whoa.
Whoa, yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I'm telling you, God does intervene. But there's so much. There's so much here, though. That's why I believe we're here at this time. Because nobody in their right mind would agree to come here. Oh yeah, let me be born into that place and get abused my whole life and get blamed for everything I didn't do, and Yeah, let me live that hell for a little bit. Oh, but wait a minute. There's a light at the end. Literally, at
Yeah.
the end of that tunnel. But God told me also, he had my back. He's had my back the whole time, the whole time, the whole time, the whole time. But for the grace of God, go I. Because so much here that nobody would agree to come here. So of course I've met so many people, especially light workers. They're like, "This is it. I am not coming back to this place again." But again, I believe we're here because these things are going to come to pass, and we're here to all do our part. We're all a piece of that puzzle. We all need to bring in whatever talent, skill, mindset that we came in with. Seek God from within and access all those tools that you brought. Because I wouldn't come here with no tool without my tools. Oh, I don't go anywhere without my tools. So we have to realize that these things will come to pass. I do believe. Oh, and that's the other thing. I don't know if I ever talked to you about the realization that Satan energy isn't one but a twin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you did. Yeah, in the
right.
last video, I thought that was fascinating. It doesn't
Yes.
surprise me.
So we're taking out the minions and the sister. That's happening because we were able to get to the male. So we believe that he's already received that absolution, and that in itself has brought others to want that absolution, and they've left. However, there are still like those that are just here fighting the holy war because they believe that's their only intention and their only goal is to take over mankind. But I do believe we're going to see that come to pass, and especially with the technology that's going to come out as soon as they announce space. There's going to be a lot of advances in technology happen, boom, 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 because they've already got it. We're just going to get to see it and use it and implement it for good things. Because
That's going to be good. A lot of people are talking about full disclosure. It's partial, but they want full disclosure.
I need full disclosure now because people think I'm crazy for the stuff I tell them I see.
Tell me about it.
Right? I'm like, no, I really did see that huge starship. No, I really did see that beautiful, colorful. I don't know what the heck that is.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to tell you, I've been seeing them all over the place.
Nice. You're in California, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Tons of them all over the place. And they're behind the clouds. And I'm like, you're not a cloud, you're a ship. You ain't a cloud. You're a ship. You sure as hell are not a cloud.
Right? Oh, man. Take pictures. Because even if you take a picture, even though it may not show up there, you can, adjust the lighting. I believe Mr. MBBB333 on YouTube, that's what he does. Take your picture and adjust it. And, oh, my God, the things that come out that are obvious in that adjustment, but not to the naked eye.
I have been watching a few of his videos.
Oh, good. Oh,
yeah. Since you mentioned him the last time. And, yeah, a lot of the triangular ships.
Mm-hmm.
So many lately. Okay, now, are those AI? Or
no, those are AI. Those are ours, but they're an AI, as well as I believe the triangle ones are manned. They're not unmanned. The cubes are unmanned. There's only AI in those cubes. Have you ever seen the black cube or heard about the black cube?
Yes, I've heard about it. I have never seen one.
Oh, my friend, oh my gosh, on Facebook, I'll have to I'm not going to say her name, but she took a picture of one, for standing out on her back porch. She was, she looks up, looking at the sky, sees like behind the clouds, and has the forethought to pull her phone up and snap a few pictures. And she was outside, so it's not the reflection of anything. She was, and she came right to me, and she was like, "Look, look at this! I just took this outside." So I totally believe her. Of course, I know her. And then I just had another friend, Mona. She sent me pictures, and I made a video of them and threw them up there also of the triangle shaped, and it's pretty because it has a light up of. The ship and the lighting system underneath it, fascinating. She got that over Ohio. So, and that was just like 2 weeks ago.
It's just because, have you ever heard of Jordan Sather?
Oh yeah.
He's been just pushing and pushing for full disclosure.
Yeah.
So,
he goes to like ESETI and goes to James Gillian's ranch up there, and you know he's definitely been someone I've watched for a couple of years. I think I started watching him at first because he was talking about vaccinations. I think
mhm.
that's when I first started watching his video, and then he switched to. I mean, he always kind of talked about everything, but he got really heavy. And then since Q came out, he's been like tearing it up with the videos.
Yeah,
So yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
information there. And again, people kinds of crazy stuff about him. They say all kinds of crazy stuff about. But anybody who's putting out good information out there, they're gonna get reamed. They're gonna get blacklisted. They're gonna have all kinds of things thrown at them. Trump, look at Trump.
I know.
People attack him on the daily. Every
You know the one.
post. Ay.
Yeah, exactly. You know the one thing I've noticed, and I've heard a lot of people say this in the spiritual, metaphysical, religious world. Don't touch God's anointed, not even with your words, because what happens when you touch God's anointed?
Yeah, it backfires.
Absolutely, and I am watching this firsthand. A lot of people, left and right, whether they're in office or not in office. If you're screaming about Trump online and you're saying this and you're saying that, don't touch God's anointed. That's a warning from God.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if some of those people, they don't believe in God. That's why they're attacking him. They don't. They don't believe in the same God we believe in.
No, I don't want to know what they believe in,
No.
but it's just crazy because my husband used to say, I always want to see the karma happen, and you know what? It's happening before our eyes. All this stuff is just, and faster. I've noticed it. Does it seem like everything's moving faster?
I've been saying time's been moving fast for the last 10 years. It has exploded and moving faster for sure. It's definitely moving faster. Yeah, I was going to say something else regarding what you were just saying, because it's about the energy play. You know, if they won't let anything good come out, they'll attack. They'll try and distract you. You know, don't look over here. You know, it's just like with all this Russia. When it
Yeah.
come to find out, China is the one that has had spies in our White House, spies as drivers for our Congress, spies with the backdoor keys to servers to get integral property and steal it. And I mean, my God, they've been a threat that nobody, of course, we didn't know about, but people in our Congress knew about because they had them in their back door.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Wait, what? What's the energy play, though? It infiltrates. That's what it does. It just gets in there and wants to divide everybody and separate us. And but those few that have signed the deal and then do the deed keeps them going until they get caught. And the only time they get caught, especially in this reality, is if they piss somebody off. Like when Bill Cosby went down, I was like, okay, who'd that man make mad? Because he's been getting away with this crap for 35 years.
Yeah.
So who'd he piss off?
The wrong person.
Yeah, he pissed off the wrong person. And so Hillary hasn't pissed off that person yet. When she comes into full view of the crimes that she's committed, then we'll know. We'll know. If she and Obama serve any type of justice, we will know that there is a turn in the tide for sure. Until then, until there's still chemtrails going on, we're still a threat. Of course, there's a threat even out in outer space that Trump has alluded to, considering the threat as to why we need a space force, because there is a threat there that they're not telling us about. There are wars going on that they're not telling us about. I mean, I don't know if you heard about the booms and the lights and all kinds of strange anomalies that are happening in our, skies. Yeah, because there's a war going on out there, and it's in inner Earth as well, because that's where a lot of these evildoers are. They're in inner Earth and they're in our atmosphere. So there's a threat, from insects to aliens. Come on.
Yeah, they're getting us coming, they're getting us going, and everywhere in between.
Yes. Yeah.
Gosh. Well, tell everybody where they can find your book.
It's available on as well as Barnes and Noble. I do have signed copies available if you want to go through my Satara. It's Satara Code Zodiac dot wixsite.com/preview, and there's
It
a
will be below
preview.
this video for everybody.
Yeah, we'll put that link below for you. But yeah, there's a preview there that you can read. The first couple pages of the book, just to get you going. Because I've had some people just read the first paragraph and they're like, "What? I don't know if I can go on. This is scary." I'd like just read it, but
I promise you, it's very eye-opening. It's something to think about.
definitely we need to have it in our thoughts that this not only could happen, but has happened. And again,
Yes.
it wasn't, again, this wasn't some kind of, great idea that I'm no Stephen King, I have not written especially a sci-fi for me. When people heard that I was about to publish a book, they would ask, "Oh, what is it?" And if I would, tell them that it was a psychic book, it's how to get, whatever, they would have been like, "Oh, cool." But I tell them it's a sci-fi, and they're like, "What?"
I'm a little confused.
They're confused. Where'd that come from you? We didn't expect that from you. And I'm like, well, yeah, and you should expect nothing to begin with. But because when we open ourselves up, though, to these universal energies, we all get that energy. We all get those dreams. We all get those thoughts. We all get that good vibration that's, available out there. We just have to tap it and stay connected to it so that we're not thrown astray and thrown off. And like 11 years it took me to write that book. And again, it wasn't just because, I'm not a great writer or I couldn't sit down, but life happened.
Yeah.
It's like I would start writing and then something would happen and it would take me away from it. I had some really life altering things happen while I was trying to write this book and get it out there. So that distraction of itself let me know how important it was. It needed to get out there, because it kept distracting me from doing it, not wanting me to complete it. Not giving people this idea that, that there's other possibilities to what's happening in our world today and the whys. It's not that we're all people. It's not that our government is so corrupt. No, it's just a few. It's just a few.
Yeah.
There's some important people that are infiltrated and corrupt, but it's happened over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over and over again. And it's really cool, too, because I was letting someone else know, my friend Laura Eisenhower, after, we published the book, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, "Oh, my God." She said, "I was stuck on that name for years." Her ex-husband made up a license plate with the name Satara.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that was just like... that just confirms to me that was a real place. That wasn't something that just came to me and, A, B, C, D, E, let's, call it Satara. Really?
No kidding.
But
I just pulled this out of the air here.
I'm like, okay. I didn't even know what I was writing. As the years went on and the dreams kept coming, and so I would add to it, and it's not like it's not a long book, because again, it's a dream sequence, and they happened over a period of time, and then this is how it all came together. It is in order.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think happened, or do you think Satara is still around? Any remnants of it?
Yeah, I think it ended up like Mars ended up, where it was uninhabitable on the surface. It drew people underground. The ones that couldn't leave and didn't perish moved underground and continued to build a civilization there. Even though that became more AI operational. Again, it just you can't even think about like moving forward. Once you've lived in a technological world, it's hard to go back to caveman basics. And so even though it happens over and over again, every time a civilization is created, they're created with basics, and then they're given this technology, and then before you know it, they're misusing it, and it's infiltrated. It's here we go again, and then it blows up. So I believe that Satara did continue, and it's probably still out there in another dimension, another galaxy, for sure. Because again, it's hard to blow up a planet. I mean, even though the war that was happening blew up a significant part of the landmass of Satara. Of course, the character leaves before that. He leaves as that is starting to happen. As the more things are blowing up, they're not there. But yeah, the planet itself is alive. And so it repairs, it rejuvenates. I don't know if you've ever seen those National Geographic shows where life without people.
Yes, yeah, I love that. I love that show. It was fascinating.
Yeah. Because Mother Earth is a planet. Every planet out there is its own entity, and then, yes, it can take years to return to normal, but it can eventually repair itself, which is an amazing feat given what people in AI have done to these planets. It's crazy to think that they last and can rejuvenate and become thriving again. It could take 10,000, 20,000 years, but what's that when you're not counting,
Yeah.
Nobody's counting the clock. But yeah, I think those that, again, survived, stayed there, and again, themselves back up. Because that's what we do. We're, the human nature of survival is what really gets us through everything. Because we just have this desire to get past and move, get better, and us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Most of us are. Yeah, I actually saw this one show, and it talked about a major pandemic. If it were to hit, yes, the chaos and the death toll would just be high, but eventually it would just level out, and the remnant would actually continue life.
Well, and if you believe, as the dreams showed us in Satara, even they know how to create that life. The solar system that they moved to, they created it. They sent out this nanotechnology, this gel like substance, and create this certain atmosphere in the middle of space to be able to produce a planet, and then to put life on that planet. Everything down to the plants that are on it is genetically made and then transferred through this gel to the planet, and kind of just like a comet would hit the planet. It would just hit the planet, and then that gel would spread out and do its thing automatically. That's how far technology really has gotten, and that's how again that wanting to survive, because we know it's possible. We know that all these things are possible. We know it's all within us to do it. That's why we have that to go get out there and do and say and speak, and it's in the AI as well.
Wow, this has been a fascinating conversation, I must tell you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I always enjoy. I can talk.
Well, just AI in general. As a kid, I couldn't fathom anything like this, and now I'm like, I'm having, dreams, I'm having nightmares, all this stuff is a reality, and how can we soothe people's consciousness knowing that all this stuff is coming out, Right. I know we have the good guys, we have the bad guys. How do we explain this to people, you know what I mean, and calm them down and say, hey, good guys always win.
Well, because it's been our experience that good guys don't always win. That's a hard one for people to swallow, that, hey, there's actually something good going to come out of destruction. Because that's the chaos. Destruction comes order. And so, it's, again, just to be able to talk about the situations, the things that could happen, and, what are you going to do? If something like that were to happen, and, all of a sudden half the population is gone, and now we have to try and survive again, and what are you going to do? So how are you going to prepare for that? You're not. There's nothing physically, emotionally you can do to prepare yourself. There's only one thing that any of us do to prepare, and that is to have faith that regardless of what happens, where we end up, that we will be okay, that we will survive, that we have that will, we have that spirit within us that is everlasting and eternal, and that's our salvation. I mean, that's, there's nothing else you can hold. There's nothing attainable for me to say, I can give you this box and it'll wipe out whatever AI is infiltrated in your life. It'll wipe out whatever entity is infiltrated. No, the only thing I can do is say, hey, guess what? You've got an energy system within you that's directly connected to God. And to Mother Earth, and to all the universal energies and powers you could ever imagine. But we have to tap into that. And that's why I encourage everyone to start that relationship with their chakra system, because that gives you folks clarity, and it gives you that, polarity. It gives whatever we call the Holy Trinity. It's it's you, God, Mother Earth. That's the Holy Trinity. That's the key to walking through any life that we go through, is connecting energetically. Because again, you can't prepare. I mean, I got preps telling me, you need to buy some food, you need to buy some water, and I'm like, oh, I can do that, but I can only stock up so much. Again,
Yeah.
we don't have warehouses at our disposal. I don't have a cache of ammo and guns, and like some of these preppers do, But and these other people are like, well, you need to get right. You need to get, and I'm like, well, the only thing I need to get right is my faith and my trust in God, that I know I'll be okay, because I am everlasting. I am eternal. It doesn't matter how long I stay right here. I go on.
Amen to all of that.
Yeah. By the grace of God, go I. That's all we can do.
Awesome.
What are you going to do if a comet come and hits you today? What are you going to do?
Die.
Poof. It's over. And on to the next. But no, get yourself right energetically. And it all comes to you. You step into that knowing. It just all starts to come.
Really interesting. I was watching this one psychic. Her name is Utsava. And she was talking about how there are clones of... I'm done recording, by the way.
I'm still going.
Oh, okay. Of Obama and Hillary. What do you think?
What is she saying? There's clones. Oh, everyone has doubles. Again, they show us in movies. The movie Dave was about finding a double for a president who had died. Or had taken off, or I can't remember the whole story, because, again, these movies. But yeah, they all have doubles, and I don't know if you even reckon Hillary. Half the time she's out in public. Which one was that? I
don't think it's her.
Exactly, it's not. They have doubles. They have clones, and again, I can refer you to a lot of shows, a lot of movies that'll take you to that place where, they know that they can transfer their mind and aspects of themselves into another body. And so they have these bodies made. And rich people, only ones got some clones going on.
Of course.
But yeah, they definitely have. And again, I know people, and I've worked with people that were in some of the first cloning projects back in the 30s. I know their offspring. They can have children. And so I know their offsprings of some of the original clones that came out in the Millennium Project back in the 30s, 1935, I believe. So cloning is a for real thing, already happening. Again, it's in all the movies. This can be done. Star Wars, they built an army. They're already telling you about the animals, the robots, that the military is currently using. So yeah, there are kinds of ways in robots, and they just get better at it. You can't even tell them apart. I mean, even the ones they show you, make public, they're so realistic. So realistic. If you didn't know you were talking to a robot, you wouldn't know you were talking to a robot.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, so I believe in the clonings, and they're definitely the high-profile people that are, part of the deep state, cabal, elite, satanic.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, because another thing that she mentioned was she believes the real Hillary's dead. Yeah, I don't know either.
No, I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because whenever I see Hillary, and I've been watching Hillary for a long time, I get this really icky. I get frustrated with her. I get angry with her. And it's still happening today. Just the other day when she came on talking about how, well, if Trump wasn't president, he would have been indicted. It made me so mad because I'm like, you're talking about yourself right there, woman. Because she
Yep.
said if anybody else isn't president, they'll get indicted. And I'm like, yeah, you know what's fixing to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
pissing off. Just that energy, that anger. So I know that's her. That was her.
Okay.
But she does have clones. And again, when we talk about clones and what does that mean? It just means they do, events. They'll make appearances. They do small non-speaking appearances. Okay, like after she supposedly had pneumonia during the campaign, and was staying at Chelsea's apartment that's supposedly got some kind of hospital inside of it. I don't know what that deal was about.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. And anyway, she came out and was supposedly just saying hi to this little girl who they're going to let a woman who just had pneumonia, right? Just a day or so after they supposedly announced the pneumonia. Anyway,
No,
was
I didn't think it was her either.
that was not her. That was not her. She didn't piss me off. I'm just like, there's a devil. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy just wait till people realize the technology that we have, and that even holograms look like people walking around. Real solid people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, just wait. They're all going to be like, "Wow, it's not even have to be a movie anymore. This is life." And even in the movies, Back to Future, Back to the Future,
Yeah.
where they talk about how it's supposed to be in 2018. Yeah, it could have been. Could have been, but they suppress it, because they would rather keep us in a loop of, their slave mentality. So,
Of course.
yeah, that's what it's coming to. So,
Ah.
I know. But anyway. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I so
Yes.
appreciate you, and anytime you got in the next couple of days, let me know. We'll get back together
Oh yeah.
and work out some more conversation.
Oh, I love talking to you. I learn something every time. And this time I learned tons of stuff.
Oh, nice. I'm
And I'm
glad.
hoping that everybody else learns a whole lot of stuff too about this.
Yeah, or at least be open to talk about it, right? That's why I
Oh,
call
well,
my new show, We Need to Talk. We need to talk. We need to talk.